You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, we're going to take you to the newest school in town, Kansas City University's Dental School in Joplin.
All right, and firefighters in Berry County release a notice about some rail ties that continue to burn.
And while we've got a chilly start for us this morning, we are looking at the possibility of not just dangerous heat, but also strong to severe thunderstorms. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
We are in an alert day, I understand.
We are in an alert day today. We've got some dangerous heat coming up. We have some strong severe thunderstorms possible this evening. So those are things that we are going to be keeping a close eye on. By the way, it is now 7:01 on this Tuesday morning. So we've got a lot of news to talk about as well, including the newest school in Joplin this morning.
That's exciting.
It is.
Yes, for sure.
Beautiful campus, by the way.
Well, the Kansas City University campus in Joplin is celebrating the opening of its new College of Dental Medicine.
Anthony Saviello has that story.
No one likes going to the dentist, but the poking, prodding, and uncomfortable feelings most of us have come to know when sitting in that dental chair are now a thing of the past.
So I think they're going to learn very easily to adapt to this technology and incorporate it into the clinical practice very easily. When they graduate and become a partner or an associate with a dentist in practice who may not have this technology, the students will bring this and help the dentists incorporate this new technology into their practice.
Dental students at the Kansas City University College of Dental Medicine are getting a first-class ticket to state-of-the-art equipment and hands-on training right here in the 4 states.
The ability to recruit students from the region for the region is a big deal when you're training the next generation of physicians, or in this case, dentists. So our first class of dentists will have almost half the class coming from the 4-state region.
The new techniques and equipment provided at the KCU campus in Joplin will allow both students and patients to learn.
So one of the nice things about the technology is it helps them stay informed. You know, many people are visual learners. Well, when you see your teeth on a big screen or a computer monitor, you can understand the process that's occurring.
So, with this new crowning jewel of Joplin, the future of dentistry is bright white. Reporting in Joplin, I'm Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Pretty cool that Joplin has that now.
Very cool.
First class of students start at the College of Dental Medicine this fall.
And they will graduate in 2027. So very exciting to have these new opportunities available in Joplin. What's not too exciting, though, is our forecast with some dangerous heat. As Tanya mentioned earlier, we do have alert days out for us as we head into our Wednesday and Thursday for temperatures pushing low, maybe even mid-100s. We also have a possible alert day for Friday for those dangerous temperatures continuing. We could again see highs into the lower 100s as we head into our Friday. And of course, with all this heat, that means we could break some records. Looking to tie the record tomorrow at 102. 107, the forecasted high Thursday, could easily break that 1953 record of 103. And right now we're looking at 104 on Friday, which could break the 100-degree record set back in 2011. We do have these scattered showers and thunderstorms out to our west. Now, that lined up right with our areas, you can see they've been kind of dying out, but they could bring a few showers, maybe a couple of pop-up storms for parts of southeast Kansas as we go through the morning hours. Then overnight, we have the elevated to enhanced risk for strong to severe thunderstorms across the 4 states today, something we're keeping a close eye on. We've got a very low end risk for a tornado or two, Elk, Chautauqua County, barely clipping out there. The bigger concerns are an elevated risk for some hail in southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma, and then the elevated to enhanced risk for damaging wind gusts. So we're talking the possibility of wind gusts upwards of 70 miles an hour with some of these storms. We also have this hatched area, which indicates the possibility of wind gusts greater than 80 miles an hour with thunderstorms in the overnight hours. So we go down the road, again, a couple of pop-up storms possible, will otherwise be partly cloudy and hot today, and then right about midnight is when we're going to start to see those showers and thunderstorms roll on through. So between midnight and 3 a.m., that's going to be our best window for some strong to severe thunderstorms as we head into the overnight hours. So it's something we're going to be keeping a close eye on. Of course, with the rain chances, see, we could see a stray storm this evening, but again, the better chances happening as we head into the overnight. We'll have another full look at your future forecast and just how hot it's going to be this week here in a few more minutes. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. An early Monday morning fire causes extensive damage to a church in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Authorities received reports of the fire around 2:45 a.m. Monday morning at the St. James Episcopal Church on Prospect Avenue in Eureka Springs. No injuries were reported. None of the firefighters were injured. The cause of the fire is under investigation. A fire near a school in Exeter, Missouri will be releasing heavy smoke for a while. That's the message from firefighters in Berry County. Authorities were alerted to the fire around 4 a.m. Monday morning. They say a 200-foot-long stack of railroad ties is burning. The fire has been reduced and contained, but authorities say it will continue to burn for some time. And a fatal crash creates further difficulties in the area of the Interstate 44 bridge repair. The crash involved 5 vehicles, including 3 tractor trailers on eastbound Interstate 44 approaching exit 18. That's the area where traffic has been slowed since an accident nearly 2 weeks ago damaged an interstate bridge. Missouri Highway Patrol says 1 person was killed in the crash. It happened around 5:35 Monday afternoon. Traffic was halted as both eastbound lanes were closed last night. Even before Monday's crash, the Missouri Highway Patrol had said motorists should be prepared for additional delays and detours in that area as repair work continues on the bridge in the coming days. Arraignment is scheduled for a rape suspect in Jasper County, Missouri. Prosecutors charged Brock Powell of Carterville with second-degree rape. Authorities arrested him on June 16th. Powell has since posted bail. Carterville Police Department says the crime happened April 21st. They say allegedly raped a female victim. Court documents say a witness corroborated the victim's accusations of rape. City of Miami, Oklahoma says there's been multiple incidents of vandalism in its parks. They say playground equipment, including slides and tubes at the Splash Pad Park, have been intentionally damaged by someone removing bolts, as you can see in this picture. An official says the bolts were removed from the upper parts of the pirate ship structure. They believe the goal of the vandals was to cause maximum harm. They say vandals are also apparently taking the bolts with them. The Alliance of Southwest Missouri hopes surveillance images help police identify the person who vandalized and stole from its Joplin building over the weekend. Staff member discovered the damage, which included a broken window and water pipe, human feces on the carpet, and thefts of a TV monitor, food, and beverages.
When you're in this line of work and you're trying to fight for kids and families, there is an opposition that comes for you. And whether the beings themselves realize what's happening or not, they're almost, I don't want to call them pawns in the game, but you know what I mean. They're going to make decisions, and it just makes our work a lot harder.
The mission of the Alliance is to improve the health and safety of area children and families. Coming up, Patrick Stone from Emmanuel Baptist Church is stopping by to tell us all about an upcoming event known as Let Freedom Ring.
And later, we'll meet a man whose mannequin in a ditch has a story to tell. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Sonic.
In Health Watch this morning, there's now a second strike happening in Wichita, Kansas. It's not another Aerosystems one, but one involving nurses at Ascension Via Christi. Now, this strike begins today. Alex.
Our system at Ascension is broken.
At the Plumbers and Pipefitters Union Hall Monday night, nurses from both Ascension Via Christi St. Francis and Ascension Via Christi St. Joseph are writing messages on signs that will be used on the picket line. Like many of her fellow nurses, Lisa Watson has been frustrated with what's been going on.
COVID taught us that the employers want to live in crisis mode, and we're not in crisis mode anymore. We should have more nurses at the bedside the way it was before COVID.
Watson says she has seen instances of some nurses taking care of 10 patients at one time, saying that kind of ratio jeopardizes care.
It's just impossible for a nurse to put that many people in her brain and erase it the next day for the next set of patients.
Watson is one of around 2,000 nurses between both hospitals, as well as a sister hospital in Texas, set to strike on Tuesday. They say a safe staff to patient ratio, nursing staff recruitment and retention, and patient and employee safety are key with the new contract. Marvin Ruckel has been with Ascension Via Christi for over 3 decades. He says security, which was really strong when he started, has been cut back over the years.
Right now the hospital's asking us to monitor people coming through the door, like being security guards. That's not our job.
As this is the second recent major strike in Wichita, nurses are finding that those on the picket line at Spirit, as well as other community members, are showing their support.
The community is upset as well, and they should be.
Itself is already happening at both Ascension Via Christi hospitals as it began at 7 this morning. The strike is expected to last for 1 day, and they'll be back to work rally a little after 6 Wednesday morning. Now, despite those nurses locked out for an additional 3 days.
Well, we've got ourselves a hot day today, alert days for excessive heat later this week, and the possibility of some strong, maybe severe thunderstorms overnight tonight. We'll have another look at your forecast when we come back.
Welcome back. We've got Patrick Stone from Emmanuel Baptist Church in Webb City joining us this morning, and it's that time of year again.
It is that time of year again. This is our 11th annual celebration. It's just a phenomenal time for us to get together. When we talk about Independence Day, it's so important to recognize why we celebrate it. There's so many people that have given their lives that are still in active military that created us, that made it easy for us today. So we're super excited about it. Hot dogs, bounce houses, super big, fireworks display. So we're super excited about it this year.
And you're bringing in the fire department to help out?
Yep, hopefully that they can do that. Hopefully there's no big fires in the area to where they have to go out and put those out. But the fire department, we're going to have free food this year. A lot of hot dogs. So
snow cones, I hear.
Tons of snow cones, popcorn. It's just a great celebration. I mean, our community really comes together for Webb City, just to celebrate this time. So we're going to have live music. Event starts at 6 o'clock. If you want to show up early, you're more than welcome to. But it's our 11th annual, and it's just a big day for me.
Okay, where's it all located at?
Right there at Memorial Park. So right there across from the church, 300 North Pennsylvania in Webb City. Just show up and be present. Our main goal is through us, to share the gospel. And that's the biggest thing because, where would we be without God?
Mm-hmm. And outreach is huge for any organization.
Sure.
People.
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't have anything to do and you think to yourself, well, I don't necessarily go to that church, or I don't live in Webb City, don't hesitate to come out. I mean, it's just a great day for fun, food, and faith and family.
All right. Yeah. It's time to let freedom ring, and everything is going to be happening this Saturday at 6 o'clock at Memorial Park.
Don't miss it.
You had a lot of people last year. So.
Yeah, we had almost 700 people come through, and I'm hoping to kind of edge that north a little bit to maybe 750 this year.
Yeah. Let's beat that number.
Yeah.
We can do it.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming in this morning. And I love the hat.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
20th and Main in Joplin.
Well, an unexpected sight along an Iowa roadway has become its own popular attraction.
Ophelie Jacobson introduces us to Des Moines' Special Rose.
On the west side of Highway 5, just before mile marker 100, the grass stands tall, but something else stands tall in the distance. Meet Rose, the mannequin of the hour, making drivers do a double take.
Some people have actually gone down, turned around, and come back to see Rose.
For years, people wondered where this mannequin came from.
There was all these speculations. I go, oh man, this is really good. I don't know, this might let the cat out of the bag here. People are going to know that she's not an alien.
This is Gary Jennings.
Because it's fun.
He's been doing this for more than a decade.
People wanted to know where I lived, and I said, well, do you know where that picnic table is along Highway 5? And they go, yes. And it wasn't just one person. It was a lot of people that knew that picnic table. And I said, well, that's not very interesting. I think we need to put something down there to make it a little bit more interesting.
It started with Gloria.
She was dressed in a bikini and she had a hunting jacket and a cowboy hat on.
But somebody stole her.
Evidently, she was just too good looking and she just all of a sudden vanished.
Next came Rose.
Someone approached me that it was his wedding. It was his wedding anniversary gift to his wife for 40 years to put Gloria back in the field. But his wife was calling her Rose, so the new mannequin was Rose.
Right now, Rose is sporting a Caitlin Clark jersey, but before that...
She was wearing a wedding dress, but I think she was left at the altar because there was never a male mannequin down there for her.
Rose has seen it all.
She has waved at a lot of at presidents and presidential candidates as they go by. I don't know who she supports, though.
A lifeless object.
Hopefully she stays there and people will respect her and appreciate her for what she is.
Brought to life.
Just a friendly face in the field, you know.
By a man full of life.
Very fascinating, very
And maybe
different, unique.
Maybe he just doesn't need to put her in a bikini and a hunting jacket and she will stay.
I think so. If she just hangs out there, waves at folks as they go by, I think it'll be just fine.
I think so.
We got a lot more coming up on the show this morning.
For sure. Are you traveling for the 4th of July? Well, you need to be aware that you may be expecting delays.
And we've got the possibility of some strong to severe thunderstorms tonight and then very hot weather ahead of us. We'll take another look at that forecast when we come back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:26. Authorities are searching for answers after a plane crashes into Lake Hamilton in Garland County, Arkansas, killing one person and injuring another. Authorities say the plane was heading toward Hot Springs Airport before the crash. One 23-year-old woman survived the crash. Divers found 49-year-old Daniel Dale in the lake, pronounced him dead at the scene. There's no word on how many people were on board or what caused the crash. Show Me State puts broadband expansion on its list of priorities. The state of Missouri receives more than $1.7 billion through the Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Program, or BEAD. Officials say the allocation comes through the Federal Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. This funding, ranking third highest in the nation, will support the state's expansion efforts. Funding will enable the Office of Broadband Development to collaborate with service providers and ensure quality internet connections for underserved areas.
We've got this possibility of some strong to severe thunderstorms as we head into the overnight hours. We've got the elevated risk here in the yellow and an enhanced risk in orange, and we're most concerned about damaging wind gusts. So we still have just a little sliver, Elk Chautauqua County, for a very low-end tornado threat. We do have an elevated hail risk for parts of southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma, and then the elevated to enhanced wind risk for a good portion of the area. So we're talking winds 70 miles an hour possible, and we've got this hatched area which indicates the possibility of winds greater than 80 miles an hour with some of these storms as we head into tonight. Now, some activity out to our west could generate a few pop-up storms for us. These are going to be very isolated in nature. We're otherwise going to be partly cloudy and hot today. And then by about midnight, that's when we start to see this complex of thunderstorms roll in. And so between midnight and about 3 a.m. is going to be our best window for strong to severe thunderstorms here in the 4 states. And of course, on the rain chances, that's where those start to pick up as we head into the overnight hours. Right now in Joplin, we've got a few clouds out there, 63, cool start for us, but it is going to get much warmer out there. Temperatures around the area, 63 Fort Scott, 69 in Chanute, 66 Parkson, 67 Chatopa, Miami, and a little cooler Neosho, Anderson, both at 62. We get our morning started again, partly cloudy skies, could see a stray pop-up shower out there, otherwise pushing mid-80s by late morning. Highs today pushing mid-90s out there with those partly cloudy to mostly clear skies. And that puts our UV index pinch lower than yesterday, down to a 10, so still very high. Your burn time's about 20 minutes, so again, make sure you're taking precautions out there to protect yourself from the sun, and additionally, make sure you're staying hydrated as well with the heat that we're going to see. We got alert days tomorrow and Thursday. Temperatures low to mid 100s out there. Very hot. We got a possible alert day for Friday. We could get back into the lower 100s again. Maybe some evening storms, a couple of scattered storms on Saturday, mid 90s. As we head into next week, we have these pop-up storm chances from Monday through Thursday, and that does include the 4th of July, but these are pop-up storms, so don't cancel your plans. Don't think you can't do anything. Just keep an eye to the sky. Otherwise, on the 4th, very hot again. We're going back to the mid 90s, low 90s for Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Holiday travelers should expect delays across the 4 states and the nations. AAA projects a record number of Americans will travel over the 4th of July weekend. They say 50.7 million are expected to travel 50 miles or more from home. Officials say the increase is primarily driven by a surge in car and air travel. Additionally, INRIX predicts this Friday will be the busiest day on the road during the holiday weekend, with increased travel times and traffic congestions in major metropolitan areas. Well, that's due at least in part to much lower fuel prices than a year ago. The average in Crawford County, Kansas sits at $3.18 a gallon. Newton County, $3.15. Jasper County, Missouri, currently sitting at $3.14. And in Ottawa County, Oklahoma, you can buy a gallon of regular unleaded for $3.11. Today is PTSD Awareness Day. At least 1 in 13 people have PTSD. And did you know that women are more likely to develop PTSD than men? That's right, about 10% of women and 4% of men will develop PTSD over their lifetime. PTSD affects about 3.5% of U.S. adults every year. That's about 8 million adults in the U.S. who have PTSD at any given time. Common events that cause someone to suffer include combat exposure, childhood abuse, and sexual violence.
So everyday triggers will then, like what I mean by a trigger is like, say you've gotten abused by somebody, they're wearing jeans and a plaid shirt. Now every time you see somebody with jeans and a plaid shirt, your trauma center, your brain is going to throw out a trigger and say, look out, something's happening, not realizing it's not happening at this time.
That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, Charlene Patton steps into Studio K to make some delicious, simple chocolate snacking cakes with a tofu mousse frosting.
And as we've mentioned, we got that possibility for strong severe thunderstorms tonight and alert days Wednesday, Thursday for excessive heat. We'll have another look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Our good friend Charlene Patton coming down from Topeka again this week with the Kansas Soybean Commission with another fantastic recipe. We've been doing some great things, keeping kids in the kitchen this summer. And as you mentioned last week, the most important thing, we're keeping them up with math, organizing, reading, and not just that, but making some amazing recipes here.
You know, it's great to, as you say, with the math, but have kids look at a simple recipe and say, double the recipe. How would we do that? And they can look through that, and if it's, of course, 1 cup of flour, it's going to be 2. But such a great way to keep them engaged in the kitchen and have some fun, but keep them in tune with getting ready for school.
Absolutely.
We are making a great recipe. It is simple chocolate snacking cake with a tofu mousse frosting. We've had several recipes with the tofu lately, and you'll like this one. But this is another winning recipe from the Kansas State Fair. It's the Heart Healthy Recipe Contest that the State Fair and the Kansas Soybean Commission does each year. She got 2nd place in the dessert division.
And it's Amanda Miller from Hutchinson, Kansas, who managed to get 2nd place here. Honestly, looks like a 1st place to me, just by looking at the ingredients.
And we might say there'll be another contest this fall, so work on it. Have your kids work on a recipe this summer that they can enter. So we have all-purpose flour and granulated sugar in here. You're going to add the cocoa to it, and I'll mix that in. ingredient. Then there's some salt and some espresso powder there. That's going to make it a rich chocolate. Baking soda. Yes.
Oh, sorry. Baking soda.
Well, I put the salt in with it, so it's okay.
Salt with the baking soda.
Yeah, that's right.
And then we've got the espresso powder
and the espresso powder. There you go. And we've just got that mix, and then I'm going to let you do the liquid ingredients. We're going to start out with our soy milk. This is 1 cup of soy milk. And to that, we're going to add another soy product, and that's our vegetable oil. And you have that at 6 tablespoons. And if you'd look at the label of your vegetable oil in your pantry, the only ingredient is soybeans. Now you're going to add vanilla. And then we have a little bit of apple cider and a little bit of the soy sauce. That's a surprise ingredient.
That is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and you can take your whisk and just blend it a little bit. It won't take long. And then we're going to pour it into this mixture, and mix it just until we don't see any dry ingredients. Then with this would go into a 7-inch greased cake pan is what she suggested. Okay, that looks great. Yeah, you can just pour that in. But I thought for summer it might be fun to have cupcakes. So this made 16 cupcakes. Just mix that. Look at that nice, rich mixture there.
It's looking great so far.
I baked the cupcakes for about 22 minutes. And then I wanted to show you this wonderful, this is the chocolate mousse frosting, but it's made with tofu. And you get firm tofu, put it into your food processor, and we're going to add some dark chocolate to it, a little bit of sugar. And oh my gosh, look how nice. Put it in the refrigerator and it sets up, and then it'll just be like a frosting, but it is just a wonderful mousse recipe.
It looks perfect. So real quick, Charlene, where can folks go if they want these recipes?
They should go to kansassoybeans.org or call our 800 number, 877-KS-SOYBEAN.
And of course, you can find this recipe along with all the others we're featuring at KOAMNewsNow.com. Charlene, thanks so much for coming in. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:40 now on this Tuesday. We have alert days for Wednesday and Thursday with this dangerous heat. Temperatures low to mid 100s possible. We also have a possible alert day we're watching for Friday with more dangerous heat. Temperatures could get into the low 100s again. We're going to keep an eye on that for you. Hopefully it will go down, but so far it's not looking promising. Tomorrow, we're forecasting 102. That would tie the record in 2012. Thursday, 107, which would break the record of 103 back in 1953. And Friday, we're looking at 104 right now, which would break that 100-degree record back in 2011. We do have these scattered showers and thunderstorms out to our west, and you can see where they've kind of split around us. And that, though, could leave enough energy for some pop-up storms, maybe a couple isolated showers as we head through the morning. Then we've also got the risk for strong to severe thunderstorms tonight. We've got the elevated risk in yellow and an enhanced risk here in the orange. The biggest threat tonight is going to be damaging wind gusts. So for Elk and Chautauqua County, we've got that little sliver of a very low-end tornado risk out there. Otherwise, we've got an elevated hail risk out to the west for parts of southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma, and then we have the elevated to enhanced risk for winds. So we're talking winds possible tonight upwards of 70 miles an hour, and this hatched area indicates significant wind. So we're talking some of these storms could be packing winds in excess of 80 miles an hour as we head into tonight. So again, a couple of pop-up showers are possible. The majority of us dry, hot, partly cloudy skies. And then as we head into about midnight, that's when we'll see this complex of thunderstorms begin to roll through the area. So between about midnight and 3 a.m. is going to be our window for strong to severe thunderstorms across the area. We're looking at the possibility of maybe a stray shower or two this evening, but again, the better risks or better chances for storms overnight tonight. Right now, we are sitting at 63 in Joplin, so a cool start for us, and it's a cool start across the area as well, but it's going to be hot today. 67 Nevada, 65 Fort Scott, 67 Chitopa, Miami, and 63 in Neosho. So let's skip ahead to today's high. We're looking mid-90s under partly cloudy skies out there. Again, maybe a pop-up shower or two. And that does put our UV index at a 10, which is very high. So it does mean that your burn time is approximately 20 minutes. So make sure you're taking precautions out there if you do have to be outdoors. And of course, with the heat, make sure you are staying hydrated. We'll have more on your forecast a little later, but right now we're going to send it over to Tanya Bach with Consumer Watch.
All right, air traffic controllers are warning they do not have enough workers to meet the increasing demand of air traffic. The National Air Traffic Controllers Association says there are 1,200 fewer certified controllers than 10 years ago. The union is calling on Congress to require the Federal Aviation Administration to hire more. The Department of Transportation agrees. Last week, the DOT Inspector General issued a report warning the lack of controllers could pose a risk to operations. We are just 8 days away from celebrating an annual Rite of Summer. The July 4th of July holiday is just around the corner, and we may see more fireworks set off than ever before. Executive Director of the American Pyrotechnics Association says her group is expecting record sales of fireworks for both commercial and personal use this year. Julie Heckman says the commercial fireworks industry lost more than 90% of its business during the pandemic, but is now bouncing back in a big way. She expects commercial sales to be nearly $450 million, with overall sales to exceed $2.3 billion. Well, there's plant-based meat, and now there's lab-grown chicken. USDA has approved the production and sale of cultivated meat in the United States. Supporters say it's a step forward in creating cruelty-free food and improving the environment. But not everyone is behind the innovative new option. Jen Sullivan has a closer look at the process, the concerns, and how soon it could be available.
Meat without the slaughter. Lab-made animal protein from the companies Good Meat and Upside Foods is now clear for production and sale in the U.S.
We're just trying to make the same product people have loved their entire lives a different way.
But just because it looks the same, tastes the same, and is just as safe, would you eat chicken cultivated in a lab? Well, you won't see lab meat at your local store anytime soon. Here's what you should know now. 1. How is it made? The meat is made from animal cells and is grown in massive bioreactors.
We can produce a lot of muscle tissue directly from a very small amount of cells, and then we feed it to other people.
2. What are the benefits? Advocates of lab meat say it's a more environmentally friendly way to produce meat. Animal agriculture is responsible for a significant amount of greenhouse gas emissions, which contributes to climate change. 3. Is it safe? Both the FDA and USDA have said some lab meats are safe for human consumption. But experts say animal cells are prone to contamination and say it faces long-term production challenges.
Can you grow them at scale in such numbers that it will make it competitive with beef or any other, it could be fish or poultry? And our answer to that, based just on well-known principles of biotechnology of fermentation processes, it doesn't look very good.
4. What about the cost? The exact pricing is still unclear. And finally, when can you buy it? No exact date has been announced, but Good Meat said production started immediately after USDA approval.
Well, Good Meat has previously announced a partnership with Chef Jose Andres to bring its lab meat to a Washington, D.C. restaurant. And Upside Foods is planning to introduce its product at a restaurant in San Francisco, but has not announced a launch date. We'll be right back with more after this, but first let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. Not many film franchises last more than 4 decades with the same leading man, or go 15 to 20 years between movies.
And then again, there aren't many leading men like Harrison Ford. David Daniel has a look at the Indiana Jones franchise and its latest chapter.
I'm retiring. Well, in that case, what are we drinking?
More than 4 decades after he first donned that fedora, Harrison Ford returns in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
They take into account that he's an older guy, a wearier guy, someone who's been through it all, and they do show some of the action load onto Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who I thought was a real pleasant surprise.
You've taken your chances, made your mistakes, and now a final triumph.
CNN media critic Brian Lowry says Dial of Destiny recaptures some of the magic last seen in 1989's Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
The third movie really was a very lovely cap to the original trilogy. And revisiting it with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was questionable to begin with, and then the movie itself didn't deliver particularly well.
What's he gonna do now? I don't think he plans that far ahead.
The problem now is that no intellectual property is going to be left unturned. And once they were able to get Harrison Ford to come back and do another one, I think, it was probably hard for them to resist the temptation to do it one more time.
It's called capitalism.
Of course, fans who were in their 20s for the first film are in their 60s now.
The audience that saw in Raiders of the Lost Ark in theaters are generally not the demographic that rushes out to see things opening weekend.
It's not so much what you believe. It's how hard you believe it.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
It's incredible that franchise has gone on as long as it has. And as mentioned, it's more incredible they've had Harrison Ford this entire time. That's also just amazing.
He's just awesome. I mean,
He
you got
is.
him in Star Wars, and that's another franchise that just keeps going, too.
Yeah. Harrison Ford is the man.
Yeah, don't even bring his name up to my mom. She's obsessed with Harrison Ford.
Well, we've got alert days out there for tomorrow and Thursday for excessive heat. We also have severe thunderstorms possible as we go into the overnight hours tonight. So we're taking a look at the risk areas here. And once we pop that up, there you go. You've got that elevated risk in the yellow and an enhanced risk in the orange for these strong severe thunderstorms, with winds being the primary concern. We've got that little sliver of a very low-end tornado risk for Elk and Chautauqua County. Greater concerns come in the elevated risk for hail across southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma, and elevated to enhanced risk for strong damaging wind gusts. We're talking those gusts upwards of 70 miles an hour, and that hatched area indicates the possibility of winds gusting more than 80 miles an hour. We'll have more on your forecast and how the rest of the week is shaping up when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Proud to salute Billy Barnett, a four-state hero.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Authorities search for answers after a plane crashes into Lake Hamilton in Garland County, Arkansas, killing one person and injuring another. Authorities say the plane was heading toward Hot Springs Airport before the crash. Divers found 49-year-old Daniel Dale in the lake and pronounced him dead at the scene. There's no word on how many people were on board or what caused the crash. The Alliance of Southwest Missouri hopes surveillance images help police identify the person who vandalized and stole from its Joplin building over the weekend. Staff member discovered the damage, which included a broken window and water pipe, human feces on the carpet, and thefts of a TV monitor, food, and beverages. Early Monday morning fire causes extensive damage to a church in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Authorities received reports of the fire around 2:45 a.m. Monday morning at the St. James Episcopal Church on Prospect Avenue in Baxter Springs. No injuries were reported, and none of the firefighters were injured. The cause of the fire is under investigation. And a fire near a school in Exeter, Missouri could be releasing heavy smoke for quite some time. Authorities were alerted to the fire around 4 a.m. Monday morning. They say a 200-foot-long stack of railroad ties continues to burn. And the fire has been reduced and contained, but authorities say it will continue to burn for some time.
All right, we got a hot one today, maybe a couple of pop-up storms, otherwise partly cloudy, mostly clear. Mid-90s, that puts our our UV index up there at a 10, which is very high. Burn time's 20 minutes, but make sure you are taking appropriate precautions. Strong severe thunderstorms possible midnight to 3 a.m. tonight. And then we've got alert days tomorrow and Thursday. Temperatures low to mid-100s. Possible alert day Friday. Evening storms Friday. More storms on Saturday. And then for the 4th of July week, we've got pop-up storm chances Monday through Thursday, and that does include the 4th. We're not anticipating widespread storms, so don't cancel your activities. Just be prepared. Otherwise, for the 4th, very hot. Temperatures back into the mid-90s, so definitely take care of yourselves out there. We've got the storms tonight and then this dangerous heat as well.
That's right. Well, no matter how you slice it, pineapple is a favorite fruit for millions of people around the world.
And Tuesday is the day we celebrate International Pineapple Day. Now, while many people may associate tropical fruit with Hawaii, pineapple is actually native to South America. Explorer Christopher Columbus came across it in 1463 on the island of Guadalupe.
Pineapple is often added to fruit dishes and desserts, and pineapple's refreshing taste is hugely popular, especially during the summer months. Lots of folks like to mix pineapple with other fruits, toss it in a blender, turn it into a delicious smoothie to drink.
I still want to know who was the test subject when it came to finding fruits and determining what you could and couldn't eat, because you look at a pineapple, that doesn't look like something you could eat.
It looks like it has protective things on it that would keep you from eating it.
Right. You're like, okay, this might be dangerous because if I touch it, it hurts. But turns out it was okay.
Yeah. Oh, very good.
Very good indeed. Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We'll be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.